Both crews are ready. We have a start in the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup.
The Australia versus the Brits.
Didn't go so well in the rugby, but perhaps it'll go a little better for Australia in the rowing here.
Strong start from the Melbourne boys there.
Great start by the Melbourne crew. Very tidy outfit to ride here with the St Paul's crew in the Bucks station.
So Bobby Thatcher, the St Paul's coach, knew the Melbourne boys would be quick out the blocks, and he was happy with them to go out a little way, and because the St Paul's have a very, very strong middle half of the race, so we'll have to watch and see if that pans out that way.
We can see that Melbourne are indeed up to an early lead. A number of the Melbourne parents and supporters are here to see the boys row. I called this race the other day, the first race of the regatta for the Melbourne crew, and I made a little mistake. I said that they won the New South Wales State Championships, which of course they didn't. They won the heat, and then in the final they lost to the mighty Shaw School from Sydney. Certainly, being a New South Welsh woman, that's not a mistake I'd like to make, saying that a Victorian crew ever beat a New South Wales crew. But of course, Shaw School winning in that matchup. The National Championships is normally where all of the head of the river winners would meet and race off, and we would see which state is indeed the strongest every year. But of course the Victorian head of the river was on the same weekend as the National Championships, so the Melbourne Grammar crew weren't able to attend as a result, and the Shaw School won both the state championships, beating Melbourne Grammar, but then also the national championships. So we can only speculate how Melbourne may have gone at the nationals, but certainly they're one of the top two schoolboy crews in the country at the moment.
Clearly a very good crew, actually, and just that start was phenomenal. They're up at the up in 40s, way past the end of the island, which is quite a long way to be up that high in A. But then they took it down to sort of 38s, and now they're around 35, 36. St Paul's have really been left for dead a little bit, actually. They've got a lot of work to do to try and get contact back, let alone even trying to take the lead.
And in the Melbourne crew, in the bow seat, Hugh Blomley, two-seat Dan Harrison, Jack Robertson, Chuck Perkins, Fergus Hamilton, Mitchell Hooper, S. Lovejoy Hall, Nick Foster, and in the coxswain seat, William Anders.
He used to be coached by Fergus's dad, Richard Hamilton, former GB coach, and he was in the Atlanta 8, the Olympic 8, back in '96.
And interestingly for Fergus, in the 5 seat, both his father and his grandfather have won this event. So coming to Henley to put down a performance that will give them the best possible result is what he's after, and hopefully to emulate what his father and grandfather have done before him.
That's right, and when he's not in the rowing boat, I hear he's a very keen wakeboarder, so he's out there skimming around on the water, doing jumps and tricks and all that sort of stuff. So stern pair of the St Paul's crew here, or the stern pair of the Junior Worlds 8s that went to the Rio. Setting up their crew with the best rhythm they can to try and claw back some of that deficit on the Melbourne Grammar School crew.
So it's really interesting when you have the Australian school crews come over, because of course our season is over the summer. So these boys raced all summer, a heavy racing and training schedule from September through to March, through to the head of the river. And then they had to pick themselves up after a tough season, regroup, and then start training for this. So it's been a really long season for these boys.
That's right, yeah. Just made a little mistake there, actually. So Fergus is sat at 5. Can't really miss him. He's quite a big chap.
But it looks like the St Paul's crew is starting to eat into this lead now. They're only half a length down on the Melbourne crew, and they seem to be moving. They are charging as we come past the Upper Thames Rowing Club.
That's phenomenal, isn't it? What a comeback. That really is impressive, isn't it?
And this is what you said. You said they were strong in the middle of the race, and here we're seeing it.
I didn't know they were going to be that strong. It looked like they left too much of a gap, but this is going to be an amazing race as we get up towards the Remnant Club. Can they sustain that? That's the question.
Well, I wonder if the Melbourne crew have put too much out there too early. It's so important in the 8 to get a good, fast start in order to get yourself into the race, but you can't do that at the expense of your rhythm in the middle section of the race and at the expense of being able to take it home as well. So perhaps they've emptied the tank. We'll see as we're coming down towards the enclosures. St Paul's are starting to draw level now. We can see the crowd and the enclosures starting to appear in the background.
Well, that's it. The Melbourne crew's on 34, 35 strokes a minute, and St Paul's have just taken it up to sort of 38. So they're clearly really gunning for it now, and this is the big push through.
And if Melbourne want to keep themselves in this race, they're going to have to take it up. They're going to have to move now. They can't wait for those enclosures to appear. Now is the time to go. St Paul's are taking them one seat at a time.
This is incredible. They were excellent steering here by the Cox as well. Right, just on the bang on the middle, not too close onto the far of the Buck station, but not too close onto the Melbourne crew. Great stuff, and they're taking it on there. They've got what they've got. They've got a canvas. They've got no, a quarter of a length. This is incredible stuff.
An incredible row here by St Paul's. What a middle thousand. I mean, we were talking earlier in the 8th race about how demoralising it is to be at least a length down, to not be able to see a crew in your periphery. That was the position St Paul's were in, and now look, they've completely reversed the result.
This is great stuff. Bobby Thatcher's clearly trained the boys and getting a very clear indication of that might happen. They've just been warned to get back onto their station here, so they need to respond to that cleanly and not let that affect how the great job they've done here to take the lead.
It's really gusty, tricky conditions here. You can see the 8s moving around a lot. We've just been slammed by a big gust here in the commentary box, so it's going to hit these crews. Will they be able to hold their composure as they come down to the line?
Amazing, good, strong rhythm there into this wind from St Paul's. They're used to this sort of windy weather on the tideway, but they're making the most of it now, and they're leaning into the wind. Big, strong strokes, high on the rating.
This is an incredible race by St Paul's, very well executed. Absolutely gutted for the Melbourne boys. They look like they've emptied the tank. They put it all out there, but they weren't good enough. St Paul's is going to do it, completely reversing the result that we saw halfway down the course.
Sorry, Sarah, it looks like it's going to be a British win over the Aussies, I'm afraid here. What a race, what a comeback.
And a very well-executed win there by St Paul's School in the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup over Melbourne Grammar School of Australia.